Okay, so we're recording. Cell is not in use. So I'm just going to tap the screen, and this is where you're going to put in that numeric code that you gave me yesterday. And then hit continue. It's your main open ticket screen here. So if you've got any open tickets, they're going to list here in this blank white space area here. You do have two different options to start a ticket. You have your select table for any dine-in transactions, and then a quick ticket option for any non-dine-in transactions where maybe they're just swinging through, grabbing a beverage or something to go. You can use this quick ticket option, which bypasses the table selection screen and goes straight to the member lookup. But we'll do select table first here, and this will take you to, so I logged into the lower lounge point of sale, so it does default to the lower lounge sales area. And then this would display your floor plan for the lower lounge. Right now, it just has this default floor plan attached to all of your areas. But in the second half of this call, like I mentioned, we'll go through on how to build out your floor plans, and we'll get those attached to each of your dining areas so that this will be a layout here of the lower lounge. So I'm just going to select table one. Actually, you also can change the sales area here. It does default, like I mentioned, to lower lounge, but you can click on that drop down and select a different area, and you will only see the areas that you've been given access to. So I'm logged in with my credentials, so I see the golf shop and all the other areas. You may only see food and beverage areas. So you can switch that. So if you needed to ring through to-go orders, you can switch it to the to-go order sales area, since it looks like you are going to be tracking to-go orders separately. Okay, so I'm just going to select table one here in the lower lounge, and then you see here that I'm prompted for a cover count. We'll just say 2 covers here, and then this is your member lookup grid. Okay, and it's you can search by first name, last name, or member number. So it starts to filter out the grid as you type. So you may not have to type out the whole name or the whole member number before you see the member in your view that you need to ring a transaction in for. So I've been picking on Jay Smith here. We'll use him again today. So this is ticket number 29 for Jay Smith. And if Jay had a picture on file, his picture is going to display right here. And then you can even click on that picture and get a bigger view of that picture, so you can verify that you have the correct member. You can see some membership details here, contact information and details there. If Jay always wanted to get an email copy of his receipt, we can check that option there. And after every transaction, he'll get an email of the receipt. I see what member groups he's a part of. I can see other family members along the right here, all his spouse and children that are also linked to his primary account. The M here is that these are minors. Okay, and then you have some actions. You're able to flag certain items as their favorites. So if you've got that member that comes in all the time, they ordered the same thing every time they come in, they like it a very specific way. You have to put 12 different modifiers on it to get it just the way that they like it. You can save that as a favorite for that member. And then that item will be starred so that the next time that they come in and they order that item, you can select that star and it'll apply that item and all 12 of those modifiers that were previously saved for that member. I can see Jay's purchase history here. You can search also by area. You can manipulate the date range there. I deleted those tickets. I was going to say it could show you some history from the golf shop because we use Jay Smith in their golf training, but I did end up deleting those tickets. But you can manipulate the date range here. This is probably used most often in the golf shop areas, in the retail areas, because this is how they do returns, is through the history. However, it's helpful in the food and beverage environment when if a member comes in and says, hey, I purchased a bottle of wine last week. We really would like that same bottle of wine, but I can't remember which one it was. A server would be able to look at their history here to find out what bottle of wine that they purchased last week. So I'm just going to cancel here out of history. Preferences, so you're able to log preferences for a member. They prefer a certain table, they prefer to be addressed by Dr. Smith instead of Mr. Smith, they prefer a certain server, any of those types of preferences there can be logged here. If there are any preferences listed here, their picture in the open ticket is going to be have a red ring around it. So that is what will let the server know that that member has some particular preferences listed, and they can come here to the preferences area to view those. And you can also create new preferences here in the top right. So as you learn any preferences for a member, you can add those in from the POS. So I'm going to cancel out of preferences there. Credit book, not really used in the food and beverage environment, but this would show any kind of credit book details. And then this option here allows you to SSO into the mobile ordering feature as Jay Smith. Okay, and I'm just going to click the back button here to get back to my order entry screen. I just threw together a screen for training purposes today and just put all your category buttons on there. I'm going to show you here in the latter part of this session how to design this screen so that if you want to make some changes to it, you can certainly do that. I did just go ahead and add all of your alcohol beverages on the main screen here. Some do prefer not to clutter up their main screen and kind of hide the alcoholic categories behind one button called bar on the main screen. That does create an extra click for the servers to click on bar and then click on the category and then click on the item. So that does add an additional layer. But if you want to see your main screen not so cluttered with all your alcohol categories, that is possible. But we'll talk about that when we get into the back office and look at your screen, and we can make those changes as needed. So I put a button for each of these categories on the main screen, and I link those buttons to the categories, and then the system generates the subscreen for me. Okay, we kind of touched on this yesterday. I didn't have to build this screen and put a button on here for each individual starter. The system does that for me. When I added that button, made it a category button and linked it to the category called starters. And then this subscreen is created for me. So if I wanted to make any kind of changes to this, okay, so we'll go ahead and let's do some chicken nachos here. And you see that rang up on seat 1. And that is because I was on seat 1 here when I rang up that item. So if I wanted to ring in a starter for seat 2, I can click on seat 2. And then I can ring up seat 2's order. There's seat 1's order. And then if I click on all, I see the whole order. So you are able to review the order by seat number. Do you use seating and enter orders by seat number?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Because I can disable that seating option there. And then also if you have it on all here, whenever you ring up an item, so if I were to go ahead and ring up a handheld now, so it looks like the steakhouse burger has an option for an impossible patty for a $4 upcharge, or I can bypass that. And then I get cooking temperatures and then a side selection. And then because I'm on all here, it doesn't know what seat to put that steakhouse burger. So now it's asking me, it's prompting me for the seat number. So I'll choose seat 1 for that. Okay, and then we'll do a smash burger here with a side house salad. And when I select a side house salad, I'm then prompted for a dressing. And then I'm prompted again for the seat. Okay, and then I'm able to edit these items. So if I wanted to edit an item, I just simply click on that item and I'm going to get a flyout menu of all the different actions here to edit that item. I can add that as a favorite for J. Smith. I can upcharge this item for whatever reason. Maybe they got extra chicken and there wasn't a modifier upcharge for extra chicken. I can upcharge that. I can discount, and anytime you're discounting, comping, or voiding, the system is going to want to know why. Okay, so you can type out a reason, any kind of reason for discounting, or you have these quick text keys for some of the most frequent reasons for discounting. And you can customize these quick text keys. So you can add more or remove any of these quick text keys. So we'll say promotion here and click OK, and then I'm prompted for the amount of the discount. So I can just select to just enter a new price. I can enter a dollar amount off here, or I have quick percentage keys here. And if I need a percentage that I'm not seeing here, I can just type that in the custom box. So if I need a 50% discount, I just type in 50 and click OK. It's going to calculate that for me. And then I just say OK here, and you see that that discount shows underneath that item. Now I'm logged in with my credentials, but if a server were logged in, it's likely going to prompt them for a manager's approval for a discount or comp or void. Okay. I can easily remove that discount. I can change the quantity of this item. I can add a message. I think you mentioned that yesterday. Are you able to add a modifier message to an item? And this is where you'll do that. You just click add message and you can type out any sort of message that will follow that item back to the kitchen. And then again, you have quick text keys for some of your most frequent messages to the kitchen.
And those are customizable too?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
I can change modifiers. So maybe on this steakhouse burger, I selected the wrong cooking temperature. I can click on this steakhouse burger, change modifiers. I can remove the cooking temperature. That was an error. And then I can add new to base. And that takes me to all the different modifiers that were attached to the steakhouse burger. And then I can select a different cooking temperature. Okay, I don't have to delete that item and re-ring it if I'm reviewing my order and see that I selected the wrong modifier. Anyone can delete an item as long as an item hasn't been sent to the kitchen. Once an item's been sent to the kitchen, that item will turn red. And then you would have to have a server would have to have a manager's approval to delete that item. Change seat number. So if I mistakenly ring an item on the wrong seat, I can easily just change that. You're not using coursing, I believe we discussed yesterday. But if ever in the future that you do use coursing, and someone orders maybe the default course on starters was course 1, but they're going to get the starter as their entree, you could easily change that from default course 1 to a course 2 or 3. And then you can transfer an item to another ticket. So maybe an item got rung up on the wrong ticket. So instead of having to delete it off of the one ticket and re-ringing it on the correct ticket, you can just transfer it to another ticket. Okay, any questions about any of these actions here? Okay, you can also edit multiple items instead of just going item by item. You can edit multiple items by clicking edit items here. That will allow you to select multiple items in your ticket. And then down below, you can choose to edit 4 items. And then these are basically those same actions. You can upcharge, discount comp, remove the discount, change quantity, add message. So if I wanted to put do not make on all of those at the same time, I can do that. Okay, also when you click edit items, you can rearrange the order because it does go back to the kitchen and the order that it lists here. So if you wanted to rearrange that, you can do that. Okay, and then under the more option here, I can change the member. So this is more of the ticket details here. So if I realize as I'm waiting on this table, it's not Jay Smith, it's actually another member, I can easily just change that member. I can change the table if I selected the wrong table number, change the cover count. This change message, so in the mobile ordering feature, the members are able to submit a message along with their mobile order from the app. So you can edit that message there. Split ticket. So this is your split ticket option. So I see that I've got this ticket here on table 1. So if I needed to split this ticket, I could check the whole ticket and I can split this ticket by however many ways. Okay, if I were just splitting it 2 ways, or I can do that, or I can just add a new ticket here and then select what items I want to move to the new ticket. Now it doesn't know who that new ticket is for, so it does open that new ticket under J. Smith as well. However, I can click these 3 little lines there, or 3 little dots there, and change the member. Okay, and you have other split options. You can split by seat, by course, by member, or by dollar amount. And then once you've split your ticket, you can say done and print if you're ready to go drop a check, or just say done if you're not ready to drop a check yet. I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to go back here. Let's say, so Jay and his spouse here, I've got their order in, and maybe they're dining with another member that I know is going to get their own check. Okay, I could always ring up the whole order on one check and then split it at the end. However, you can easily keep it separate as you go by clicking this option here. This plus sign here allows you to add another ticket to this table. Okay, so if I know that third person is a member that's going to want their own check, I'm just going to click the plus sign. Maybe there's one other person they're dining with. They're dining with Mark here. And now I can enter in Mark's order. So Mark's going to get a salad. He's going to go with the large Cobb. He's going to add steak with ranch dressing, and he's on seat 3. Okay, so now I have Mark's order, and then here's Jay's order here. Okay, so they're on separate tickets on the same table. So when I hit send to send it back to the kitchen, it's going to go to the kitchen on one prep ticket because they're on the same table and we want their food to come out at the same time, even though they're on separate tickets. So when I hit send to send that, it does log out on send by default. Sometimes I get asked to turn that off because servers get annoyed from having to log back in when they have to enter in multiple orders. So that is an option if you don't like that it signs out after send. Okay, so now I have my 2 tickets here, my open tickets screen, and I can see they're both on table 1 here. And then there are some actions here right from my home screen. I can unlock a ticket. So tickets get into a locked state when they are opened on more than one terminal at the same time. So the system doesn't want any, 2 people making changes to a ticket at the same time. So it'll lock that ticket. So it'll happen sometimes where you'll see a ticket is locked, and in order to gain access back to that ticket, you would need to check the box here and click unlock. I can transfer this ticket to another employee. So if I've been cut, but these 2 members are hanging out and I'm going to pass those along to another server, I can easily just transfer them, and I can transfer both of them at the same time. I can member charge straight from my main screen without having to go into that ticket. I can just check that ticket and click member charge to charge that transaction to that member's account. And then I can delete the ticket. Now I do have to have delete rights to be able to delete a ticket that's already been sent to the kitchen. Otherwise, it will prompt me to have a manager come over and put in their code to approve it. Okay, and you see now that these items have turned red because I've sent that to the kitchen. And if I'm ready to drop a check here, I'm just going to hit print pay. That's going to print out a pay receipt for me to then go and drop that check on the table. Okay, and then I drop the check. They're going to fill out that check. Is that typically how you do it? You do drop checks?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you allow additional gratuity to be written in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they wrote in any kind of additional gratuity, I can add that here. Okay, I can type in the dollar amount, or again, you have these quick percentage keys. And then click OK. So I've entered the gratuity there, and then I can member charge as well by clicking this little guy in the open ticket. Is that a majority of your transactions, is charging it to their account?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. So this will get used most often. And then you also, again, have that member charge option straight from your open ticket screen. But if they want to pay some other way, other than charging it back to their account, you do have this pay screen here where you have access to other forms of payment. Okay, and also on the pay screen, I can edit the gratuity. I can make this transaction tax and or service charge exempt. These are protected by a manager's approval. And then I can also email this receipt. We saw how in the member profile, when we clicked on the picture for Jay Smith, how we can turn on the always email a copy of the receipt, but maybe he doesn't always want an email copy of a receipt. He just wants it this one time. I can choose to email the receipt just this one time. Maybe it was a business lunch. And then typically we are always printing a settle receipt, which is that receipt that's going to print after some form of payment has been applied. Okay, so I am going to select member charge. You can also do multiple forms of payment. So if maybe they wanted to pay $50 cash and then they want a member charge the rest, I can certainly do that. Okay, you just aren't able to do multiple credit cards on the same ticket. So if they handed you 2 credit cards and said, split the bill among these 2 cards, you would have to first split the ticket into 2 and then run a credit card on one ticket and a credit card on the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then once you've entered that form of payment, then you just say done here, and then it bounces to Mark's ticket here because they were at the same table. It thinks he's ready to settle his ticket as well. If he's not ready to leave yet, he's going to hang out, maybe have a few more drinks. I can just close out or X out of his ticket and leave him open. But once you close the ticket, it then goes into your closed ticket queue here over to the right. And you do have some options here in your closed ticket queue. So I can reopen this ticket if I needed to make any kind of correction. I can reopen it. I can reprint the pay or settle ticket, or I can delete the ticket. Again, you would have to have a server would have to have a manager's approval to delete if the items have been sent to the kitchen. Okay. You do also have a search box here in your open ticket screen. So if it's a really busy night, you have a full screen here of open tickets. Instead of scrolling through and trying to find a ticket you need, you can easily do a search here by member name or table number, ticket number. You can search basically anything in this grid. Okay. You also have and you see here that I can see table 1 is taken. This is the employee name, the server name, and then the member name that are on table 1 here. I do want to show you that you also have a bulk entry option here. So if I were to select this icon here, that's going to allow me to then select multiple members. So if you need to charge a bunch of members for the same thing, then you can do that as a bulk entry. So maybe you had a ladies' luncheon and they all need to be charged for a buffet. You can select everyone that needs to be charged here, hit continue, and then find your item here that you need to charge them for. We'll just pretend this is that buffet. Okay, and then I can just hit my member charge guy and it'll charge everyone that I selected for that 8-ounce filet mignon. I can also just create the tickets and it will create a ticket for everyone that I selected with that item already on it. And then I can go into each ticket and add drinks separately. So if I hit create tickets, I'm going to be prompted that I'm about to create 4 tickets. Do I want to continue? I say okay to that. And then that throws out 4 tickets there that I can then go in. So I have that item already on there. And then I can go in and add drinks separately. So maybe they got some wine here. And then I can close that out separately. Then Andy, he got a beer. Close it out separately. Okay. Now, if I were to just hit member charge, it would have just charged everyone for that fillet. Okay, and then your quick ticket option, again, just bypasses that table selection screen. I'm just prompted for cover and then taken straight to the member lookup there where I don't have to select a table for the quick ticket.
If someone already has a tab open under their member number, can another one be opened while the original one is still open, or can only one tab be open for them at one time?
Oh, no. They can have multiple tickets open under multiple different servers. When a server is logged in, they're only going to see their open ticket, so they won't know unless you're opting to show all open tickets for everyone. By default, a server logs in with their number and they only see their open tickets.
Okay.
But if they have a ticket and then a server, it doesn't matter if they had started a bar tab earlier in the restaurant area, and then the Bev card girl opens up a ticket for them on the course.
Okay,
Is
perfect.
the visibility, is that like a master setting, or so like this is great like for the 90% of the time, but there's other things where we do like member events and there's people like ordering drinks at tables, ordering drinks at the bar, to where like we would want everybody to be able to see everybody's tickets.
Yeah, so we can turn that on. I believe we can turn it on by sales area. So maybe for the member events sales area, if I open that sales area up, you have point of sale options here, and you have a ton of different options. And I believe we can turn it on, show all open tickets in POS. So for
Awesome.
the member events area, we can turn that on, and then you'll see everyone's tickets. You'll get in your reservations training here how to process events. So you'll have your event manager on the website side. So when you'll go through that event that website training for your event reservations, well, you'll be able to see any events that are happening today. They'll be listed here, and then all the reservations for that event will list here, and you'll be able to easily charge those out.
Great. So that's another training. I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, so that will be training on the website with the website team.
Okay, great.
Okay. And then in the top left corner here, we have these three little lines. I refer to it as the hamburger icon. You click on that and you get a menu here. Managers have more access to this here. So I'm logged in with admin rights. So I see everything here. A server wouldn't see everything in this list. But you do have a member lookup. So if you just needed to look up some member information, you don't want to start a ticket for them. Maybe you just need to call Steve Babb. Maybe he put in a to-go order or something. You've got a question, or you can just look up his member profile here and see some membership information without having to start a ticket for them. You have an item lookup. So we discussed, if you remember yesterday when we were creating a new item, you have the ability to enter a countdown for an item that you have a limited quantity of. So if you were having maybe a ribeye special, you only have a certain amount of ribeyes, you put that count in and the system can track that. And once it hits 0, it won't allow you to sell any more of that item. A lot of times it happens during service where chef yells out, I only have 5 ribeyes left. Well, you have the ability to turn on a countdown from POS, and you can do that through this item lookup. So you just click on item lookup. You can find your ribeye. I don't know if you have a ribeye, but I know you have a fillet. So let's just do a fillet here. So maybe the 4-ounce fillet, I can turn that countdown on, put that count in here and save it really quickly. Or if you're already out of the 4-ounce fillet, you can go ahead and 86 it. And that basically just inactivates that item. Or if you see an item ringing up at the wrong price, you can edit the price from point of sale instead of having to go to your office and log into the back office. Okay, you have a ticket lookup if you need to look up a ticket. Gift card balances. If a member inquires about the balance on their gift card, you can look that up here from POS. Messages. So you're able to set up pop-up messages for both members and employees. Okay, a lot of clubs use the messaging feature for allergies for their members. You do have that preferences option within the member profile where you can add allergies to preferences, but the server has to notice that red ring around the picture, click on the picture, click on preferences to view those preferences, and you could put allergies there. However, most use the messaging feature because it pops up as soon as that member is selected from the lookup every single time. Okay, and the server has to acknowledge that message before they can move forward. So those messages, just keep that in mind if you allow your servers to go and play around on the new POS during the soft launch period, that it is configured to print currently.
Right.
So here in this message, I would say attention server member has a gluten allergy, and then I can choose whether or not I want to attach that to employees or members. I would want to attach that to all the members that have a gluten allergy. And so if it's attached to a member, as soon as I pull that member from the lookup to start a ticket for them, that message will pop up and the server has to acknowledge that message.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Or I can say, attention server, POS training, Thursday at noon. And then I can attach that to all the employees that I need to attend that point of sale training. And then that message for an employee would pop up as soon as that employee punches in their code for point of sale. And they have to acknowledge that message to move forward. And then you would be able to see if they viewed it or not. Okay, and then that message stays here after they've acknowledged it. They can always refer back to it here under messages. So maybe if they forgot the time, they can just look it up here in their messages. And it'll stay here until that message has been deleted or it has expired, because you're able to set an expire date here.
Nice. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, reports. Okay, so this is where a server would go to print their end of shift report if you're going to require them to print out a report at the end of their shift. They can always view this report at any point in time. So I can see all of my cells here. Okay, but I wouldn't be able to print this. I'm going to get an error message that I can't print until all my tickets are closed. I have a ticket that's hanging out there. So I would have to close this ticket before I could print that report. Okay, and then a manager has the ability to run a shift history report, which is a consolidated report of everyone's sales. And then you have a ticket audit report. So if I wanted to look at an audit trail for ticket number 28, I just type in that ticket number and I can see an audit trail. That wasn't a good one. Let's look at. Okay. I can see who created that ticket. So administrative user, which is me, created that ticket at 12:12. And then I can see what items were added, what modifiers were added, any discounts. Okay, and then I can also see when it got sent to the kitchen. So if there's ever a question, maybe you've got a table that's not happy about how long it took to get their food, you would be able to look at the audit trail on that ticket to see when the items got rung up and when they actually got sent to the kitchen. Okay, system tools area is just an area for some terminal settings here. This is where we'll link your credit card devices once those tokens get finalized. We'll link each terminal to the correct credit card device here. But another setting I like to point out here is the override ticket date. This is where you can override the terminal date. So maybe you had an event, you didn't want to, process that billing, late at night, you'd rather do it the next day. You can always backdate the terminal and ring those tickets with a backdated date so that those transactions get on the members' accounts for the correct day and in the correct sales batches. And then all open tickets here. So this will allow you to view all the open tickets out there. So this would be a good thing to check for a manager at the end of the night to make sure all tickets got closed out. Okay, and you can also see that by server as well. Okay, any questions? All right, so let's jump in the back office again.
I did have one more question, sorry, on the POS side of it.
Okay.
Is there an easy way to combine two open tickets, like not under the same table, like if they aren't already under the same table?
Okay, so let's do that. Oh, let me put do not make on those. You know what? I'm just going to keep it simple just in case they don't see the do not make. I'll just do a soup. Okay, and then
You can see the do not make. It worked.
okay, perfect. And then I'll ring another one on another table. Okay. That's weird that my internet must be dropping. Okay, so I've got two tickets on two different tables here. So one way to do it would be, the easiest way to do it would be that I can transfer this item to the other ticket, and I can transfer multiple items. So I could check all the items in this ticket and I could transfer them to that other ticket. So that's the easiest way. Okay, and then another way would just be to change table and move them to the same table, and then use your split ticket option to move all items to one ticket. But the easiest way to do it is that transfer.
Okay, nice. And same goes for if it's not a table, if it's just a tab, like a quick ticket, it doesn't change that.
So quick ticket, you could still transfer. You would use the transfer, just transfer items to another ticket.
Okay, perfect. Our system right now, it's just, you can't like combine two tabs. They have to be on tables specifically. So just making sure.
Yeah, you can transfer items from a quick ticket to another quick ticket or to a ticket on a table. It doesn't matter.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, awesome. Do the servers themselves have the ability to do these things themselves, or is it management level?
Yeah, they have the
Great.
ability to do it.
Awesome.
I do also want to show you, oh, no, cancel. So if I go into, I don't think I mentioned this here. So I've see those two tickets that are now on the same table. But you can split an item as well. Instead of splitting the ticket, maybe you've got two members dining together, but they ordered a bottle of wine and they want to split the price of the wine. You can just split an item two ways, and then you can move one half of that bottle of wine over to the other ticket. So you can split items as well.
Perfect. Okay, good.
So if they wanted to split an appetizer or bottle of wine or something like that, that's helpful there.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm just going to delete these tickets. Okay. Or you can make a transaction tax and or service charge exempt here. So you can remove the tax or service charge.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.